Hello. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. This is going to be a guided meditation on how to receive healing life energy. I'm laughing because I'm talking, but while I'm talking, I'm also trying to multitask and turn off my phone. So there, my phone is turned off. So, yes, meditation and multitasking, they don't go hand in hand. So this is going to be a guided meditation on how to take in divine healing life energy. It's very simple to do. Please sit with your legs uncrossed, feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, back in a relaxed upright position. If possible, not leaning against your chair, and then close your eyes. Welcome, Electroscalar. Thanks for saying hi. And now let's take a few breaths, coming into the present moment and very firmly separating yourself from all problems, all worries, handing them over to your understanding of a higher power or to a spiritual helper you trust. And then asking to receive this healing life energy and observing your body, having the will, the intention to take this energy in. And that's the practice, to observe the body, having the intention to take this energy in. I'll come in with a reminder every now and then. If it helps you, you can play some music. I think I'm going to play some music. One moment. All right. So please let me know if that music is too high or too low. Just opening yourself up to receive. Taking in this divine energy. Having the intention to let go of everything that doesn't serve. taking in this goodness. If thoughts of problems arise, giving those away. So I'd like to thank everyone who joined in. Please let me know how the volume of the music was. I haven't played music in a while. Please let me know if it's coming through clear. Thanks for saying hi, Electroscalar. I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful, great, thank you. I wish everyone actually, let's take a moment and let's tune in, please. Dearest, infinite love, source God. Dear friend Bruno, dear friend Christ, please. For everyone who attended this gathering, we had lots of people who dropped by maybe for a few seconds. Please, everyone who came by this video today, the highest blessing. Please, for everyone who watches this video. Please, for this YouTube channel and ministry, and especially for everyone who interacts with it or connects with it, the highest blessing for them. Please, for everyone engaged in sharing the work of Bruno Gröning and everyone who turns to Bruno Gröning, turns to Bruno's work for help. Please, for all those seeking the good. Please, for all those who've lost hope and aren't seeking the good. Please, for Mother Earth and every living thing on it. And for ourselves, the great turnaround, the great reversal of relying on God, trusting in God, and following God, following love, following life itself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just sit for a little longer. Thank you so much, one and all, for joining in. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care. Much love. Oh, thanks for saying hi, love. I think this is the first time you've said hello on this channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You caught us at the tail end. We're just doing a guided meditation on receiving healing life energy. If you'd like more information about, I don't know if you're new to this channel or new to Bruno Gröning, but if you'd like more information about it, you can see my website, thehealingstream.org. This happens every time I get ready to finish up and lots of people come on, and then it's hard to say goodbye. Aw, thanks, love. Thanks, Electroscalar. Mhm. Mm. Well, friends, I make these videos because I'm alive, because someone told me about Bruno Gröning. That's just the long and short of it. I was had multiple medical conditions. I was stuck on psychiatric meds. If I decreased the medication even a little bit, I became emotionally, mentally unbalanced. And when I would become emotionally, mentally unbalanced, I would feel suicidal. And yet the meds were also destroying my body. I was starting to go blind. I had heart palpitations, chronic tension. I was just, yeah, I didn't think I had, much longer to live. And I was genuinely stuck. And I was an agnostic, meaning I was utterly convinced that maybe there's a God, maybe there's a not God, but what I was utterly convinced is it's impossible to know. There's no way to know. No one can be certain about that. That was my view. Well, I was wrong. I was utterly wrong. There is a higher power, and we can know it. It's a fact, not something you have to think about, but you can actually know it. Bruno Gröning said, if you observe your body will convince you of the truth. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the teachings of Bruno Gröning. And I've made videos sharing about many of the healings I've experienced. And that's just it. Bruno Gröning did not have an easy life. And if he hadn't come, I'm pretty sure I would have died a long time ago. And I'm not the only one. Grace. The teachings of Bruno Gröning are about us striving for God. But in essence, it's about striving for grace. And that's a huge part of it. That's not the whole part of it. And what is grace? Well, it's an undeserved gift. I mean, I don't want to say that's the whole, but the simple idea of grace is an undeserved gift. And, Bruno made it very clear that anything negative that happens is something that we have brought onto ourselves. So in essence, so here I was in this really yucky situation. I had mental and emotional problems that medication took care of, but the medication was destroying my body, and some other lifestyle choices were really harming my body, but primarily the medication. And yet if I got off the medication, I would get unbalanced and probably try to kill myself because I had before, or I came within inches. So it was really, and I was going blind. I had to wear an eye patch. So I'll have to buy an eye. I think I have one that I can show you guys. I had to wear an eye patch and sunglasses all day long. My eyes burned all day long, and they were just getting worse and worse. So I was really stuck in a prison. And according to Bruno Gröning, and he's not alone in this, it's written that Jesus said, you reap what you sow. Of course, many spiritual traditions from the East talk about karma, that life is not random, that these are all burdens I had brought onto myself. And I was stuck. There was no solution I was aware of. And then I saw a flyer. In fact, I still have the flyer. I saw this very flyer. It didn't even happen like that. I hadn't even, because I was emotionally stable from the medication, I had stopped seeing a counselor. I was still seeing the psychiatrist for the medication, but I was emotionally stable for really the first time in my adult life. And then I had this feeling of like, oh, I think I'm going to go see my counselor. I was like, okay. So I just I had that thought, and I booked a session with him. And then I was waiting in the waiting room, and I saw this documentary film, The Phenomenon Bruno Gröning, On the Tracks of the Miracle Healer. The sensation from 1949 is current again today. There is no incurable. God is the greatest physician. I was like, what? And who is this guy? I was like, that guy looks weird. And then I started looking, and these are reprints from actual newspapers from 1949. And for example, it says in German, his words ban illness. And then below it, it says, unfathomable. Bruno Gröning. Let's see. Bruno Gröning. I can't read it. It's backwards. But in essence, Bruno Gröning heals the blind, the dumb, the mute. And I'm like, what? What is this? And how have I not heard of this? That was my first question. I'm like, how have I not heard of this? And then on the back, it talks about this movie and that people feel something during the movie. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever. But I went and saw the movie, and I was in such bad shape that I only stayed for about 40 minutes of the movie. And 20 of those minutes, I was lying on the floor. My body was so stiff and so tight, I couldn't even sit for long periods anymore. I just lied on the floor with my eyes closed. I could read for 20 minutes. I could watch movie or TV for 20 minutes. And I laid on the floor for 20 minutes. And again, I was a very devout agnostic. And then I left because I was exhausted. I felt horrible. That's the other thing. I was dealing with intense fatigue, but something drew me back, and I came back. And so I was there for 40 minutes, and then I left for an hour and a half, and then I came back and I caught the last 5 minutes, and I'm like, what? I didn't know what was going on. And then they announced that that there was going to be an introduction to learn about these teachings. And if I hadn't come back, that would have been it. But so I was drawn to go see my counselor. And after my session with my counselor, I walked out and I'm like, why did I go see this? I didn't need this session. Why did I come here? Well, I got my answer. God and Bruno Gröning called me so I could find this flyer. The flyer was in the waiting room of my counselor. So again, I go to the movie. I'm there for 30, 40 minutes. I leave, and I come back. The last 5, I feel drawn to come back. Last 5 minutes, don't understand what's going on, but then I hear the announcement about the introduction. And I go to the introduction, and I don't feel anything. I don't like this. I didn't like the music they played. I was like, the introductory video seemed low quality. Like I was just like, yuck to all of it. But some of the people on the video said that they had experienced healings. And then some of the people who were actually there said that they had experienced healings. That got my attention. I was an agnostic, but I wasn't an atheist. I wasn't like, no, there is no God. No, there is nothing metaphysical. That's the stance of an atheist. I was like, I don't know, and I don't think you can know. But I was desperate, and I was open-minded. And that's all that's needed is open-mindedness. Desperation helps. First community hour, I lasted maybe 40 minutes, which is really a miracle that I stayed that long. Second community, not so much a miracle, but an achievement. I probably didn't stay 40 minutes. I probably stayed 30. Second community hour, I stayed an hour and a half. That is a miracle. I didn't recognize it at the time. But that was an absolute miracle. I could generally not sit longer than 20 or 30 minutes. Next community hour, I made it the whole way through. That was a miracle. And at some point, I don't know when, I started doing the tuning in on my own. And at that third community hour, I said, I'm going to give this thing a year. I said, I'm going to do this for a year and see what happens. Because, like I said, I was trapped. And I don't know whether it was I don't know whether it was my fourth or fifth community hour when I had my first healing. In the middle of the community hour, I just started, you sit with your palms like this, but all of a sudden, I love that we have audio that you can see images of me while I do this. I felt something on my thumb. I was like, what's going on with my thumb? And I look down and what I see is my finger rubbing my thumb. Like I wasn't rubbing my thumb. It was like something was possessing my finger and rubbing my thumb just like that. And I'm like, what? Like, it's kind of weird. Like, if you can imagine, I'm just sitting there, like watching my finger rub my thumb. I'm like, what is going on? And then I looked and I was shocked because I'd had a second-degree burn on that thumb for 3 years, and that the skin there was always sort of medium reddish. Like the top layer of the skin was burnt off, and the doctor said it would never grow back, that part of the skin had been destroyed. Well, I didn't know what was going on, but when I stopped that finger from rubbing and I looked, the skin was, pinkish, light red. And I was shocked. And then I watched that skin change from light red to sort of, very or light, light red to light pink to light pink. It just slowly got healthier looking. Then it was splotchy, and then it was skin color, and then the fingerprint grew back. I don't know if you can see a fingerprint. I don't know if my camera's that good. My camera's not quite that good, but the fingerprint grew back. And in that moment, I didn't have to believe in a higher power. I had the evidence right in front of me. It wasn't even evidence, it was proof that there is a power that is mightier than the quote laws, than what science says are laws. They are actually not laws. Physics, chemistry, biology. There's something more fundamental than that. And that thing that's more fundamental is very available to help and heal. And that was the first of many healings I experienced. Everything I mentioned was healed. I got off the medications. The diagnosis was bipolar 2, considered medically incurable. You ask any, whenever I go and, I've gone to see, over the years, I've gone to see counselors, and once or twice I've thought of working with a psychiatrist again. And that's another story. But, and I tell them, yeah, I used to have bipolar 2, but it's healed. And they're like, no, that doesn't heal. I was going to see them for something else. They're like, no, that doesn't heal. You need to get back on your medication. And I'm like, no, I haven't had a hypomanic. Bipolar 2 doesn't have full mania. They have something called hypomania. It's like, I haven't had a hypomanic episode in like, I don't know, 7-8 years. And they're like, well, it must be in remission and you should get back on your medication. That's how hardcore the psychiatric field is about that particular illness. It's cured. And I used to decrease my medication by 10% and my mood would swing. And so it was the first of many healings, and I'm alive today because of this guy and his work. And so it's really my joy to pass this along. And yeah, so I'm going to take a look at some of the comments. Your story is amazing, just as the other great healings. Every healing is amazing. Thank you, Electroscaler. Lav wrote, I'm doing Einstein every day. Good. See, here's the thing. We human beings think we don't need God. But what Bruno Gröning taught is that in essence, we need God like we need food. Really, we need God like we need air. but maybe food is a little easier to understand. We need it every day if we want to be healthy. If we want to be well, we need to take in this energy every day. That's what Bruno Gröning said, and find out for yourself. And I had someone found this channel. His name's Jason. And Jason, I have an online course that leads people through Bruno's teachings. And it's free. That's not a sales pitch, by the way. You can find it on my website, Become a Master of Life. And Jason did it. And he just started tuning in every day. And he had a healing. Let me remember what it was. He, from his work, he was in pain every day. He had extreme tension. I don't remember whether it was pain or, but it was extreme, and it was daily. And he did the course, and he started tuning in every day. And one day he woke up pain, tension free, so that he hasn't had that in like decades. And then he had another healing. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to ask him. But then one day he got up late and he skipped tuning in. He skipped Einstein, and he said, I'm never skipping another day, because the day was just so bumpy, and because he was able to notice such a radical difference between tuning in and not tuning in first thing in the morning. So I hope his story inspires people to tune in every day. I try and do it 2 to 3 times a day. And where can I see the movie you mentioned, please? Oh, great. Thank you for asking, Jesse. Yes. One moment. I will get you that link. Thank you for asking. It's called The Bruno Gröning Phenomenon. And I'm going to give you the link right here. Thanks for asking, Jesse. Welcome to the channel. Again, it's called The Bruno Gröning Phenomenon, Part 1. And as you do it, please sit with your legs uncrossed, your feet flat on the floor, hands on your legs, palms facing upwards, and just notice what you feel. Have the intention to receive healing energy. And just throughout the movie, normally when we watch a movie, it's like we leave our body, right? And our intention goes out of ourselves. Well, keep your attention in yourself and see what you feel while you watch the movie. Wow, here's a live healing report from Janet. I've been following Bruno Gröning for a month, and psoriasis that I've had for approximately 40 years has disappeared. The itch, scaling, and redness disappeared after 2 weeks. 2 weeks! So, okay, friends. Janet had this for 40 years. Okay? Because sometimes people think, oh, I've had it for 5 years, or oh, this hasn't healed for a year, or it can be longer. People can have something for even longer than that. And boom, 2 weeks, it's gone. Thanks be to God. And thank you to our dear friend Bruno for showing us the way. Thank you for sharing that, Janet. Wow, you just made my day and many people's day. Janet, I hope you make a video. If you make a video about that, please let me know and I'll link to it. Because that's Bruno Gröning never asked for money. He never asked for devotion. He didn't ask to be worshiped. He didn't ask that he didn't found a church and say, come to my church. He didn't ask anything. He did ask people to live by spiritual principles, and he asked people to share their healings. So thank you, Janet, for sharing your healing. And please do tell people, and be prepared. Many people will poo-poo. I've had many people tell me that it's utter, complete blankety blank. I won't say that word here, but you can probably guess. Bull blank. That's okay. And be careful not to let people talk you out of it. To really stay with your truth. And thank you. You just made my day, and the people who are here live right now, and everyone else who watches this video. So I wish everyone a great day. I thought this was going to be a 20-minute meditation, but God and friends, I mean, I don't know, Bruno, Christ, other angels, other helpers, I don't know, arranged for this to happen. I was literally about to leave, and then people started showing up. So thank you, God. Thank you, helpers. And thank you, everyone who dropped by. This is a really special session. Thank you, Janet and Jesse. Welcome. Enjoy. Jesse, by the way, people have experienced healings from just watching that movie. I met someone who they had a motorcycle accident, and for 20 years they had a problem with their knee where they couldn't stand up from sitting. Once they were sitting, they would have to like lean on things. I'm trying to demonstrate this. They would have to, like, they couldn't stand up. They had to have some kind of support. And this person went to that movie and he fell asleep during the movie. And I don't know if it was during the intermission or at the end, and he just stood up and walked. And he stood up for the first time in 20 years without any assistance. And it's lasted. I met him personally. I got to look him in the eye and hear his story and watch him tell it. And yeah. I am feeling so happy right now. I'm really grateful for all of you coming here. Really grateful for the wonderful participation. And I'm really excited for the other people who are going to get to watch this video and hear these stories, not just my story, but Janet's. And I forget this person's name. Cotswold Seeker, really good to connect with you again. Oh my gosh. Your picture's very tiny, and I'm not Cotswold Seeker. So if you're comfortable sharing your first name, I'm not recognizing your YouTube handle. And great to reconnect with you. Hi, Jisoo. Cotswold Seeker. It feels familiar. But yeah, if you don't want to share your first name, that's fine. And really good to... Wow. Very, very special... very special YouTube gathering today. Tobias. Oh my God. Yeah, man. I've never seen your face. Toby. Hello, brother. Wow. Really special. Wow, that's really special. Thank you, brother. Well, let's sit for a little bit. First, just what a special... Okay. All right, friends. Before we sit, so here's the thing. So I recently moved to Florida, and one of my intentions in moving here was to start a Bruno Grinning Center. And I've been here for almost 4 months, March, April, and I've been kind of 4.5 months, and I've been kind of like hemming and hawing about it. And I purchased this place where I'm broadcasting from 2.5 months ago. Is that right? No, February, middle of February, March, April. Oh my gosh. I've been in Florida almost 5 months, and I purchased this place 3.5 months ago. And the reason I purchased it was for this room. And my intention is to hold, that this would be my first sort of church, as it were, that this room is to hold, to hold gatherings based on Bruno Gröning's teachings. And that was my intention when I bought this place 3.5 months ago, and I haven't done it. And 2 days ago, I decided, okay. And I've even picked a date for the first meeting here. And so this is very special. This is a very special meeting because I made the decision, but it was just 2 days ago that I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then this magical session happened. To reunion, we got a sharing of a healing report. We have someone new. So it's begun. As far as I'm concerned, we started it right here, right now. This was the first formal meeting in this place. And I thank you all for making it very special. Thank you for saying hi, Tobias. Oh, well, Janet, nothing's impossible. And I'm going to be broadcasting all of them. Yeah. So with that exciting news, let's tune in. Please, I don't know whether to call it a center or a church, or I don't know what it is yet, but it's a place. And so please, for this place, please, for everyone here right now, for everyone live right now, everyone watching this video, please, for old friends, and for new friends. Please, for Jessie. It sounds like she's brand new to hearing about Bruno Gröning. Of course, for all of us. And I say that because, it was next to my birth. Finding out about Bruno Gröning was one of, if not the most important day of my life. So please, and I'm very touched by the warm wishes. And as I get more organized, I will announce my things further out, and people, of course, can come visit. And I'm getting really committed to, what Bruno Gröning said, that he said, after I am gone, the time will be right for everyone to receive help and healing inside themselves. Everyone will become their own physician. So I don't see it as my job to heal anybody. And I'm happy to help. Once I'm ready, I'll be happy for people to come visit. And the message is that this energy is all around us. We just need God and a helper such as Bruno or Christ. I'm not talking about myself at all. and the willingness to seek it. On lectures in Connecticut. Well, Mariana, send me an email. I might be willing to travel up to Connecticut. I'm willing to travel. And there might be, send me an email, Mariana. And Connecticut's not so far from Florida. We've had healings happen over the internet. I think I've lost count. We've had 8 or 9 happens in the middle of these live streams. The thing is, and this has been a big aha for me, most of the healings don't happen in a community hour. Has anyone else noticed that? I've probably heard 600 or 700 healing reports, I'm estimating. And like 3% of them happen during a community hour or during, watching the documentary film. They do happen. And my first one, it began. Isn't that interesting though? It didn't happen. It just began in the community hour. It's not like I was rubbing my finger and the skin was completely, that process began and it went on for about a week and a half. So we can't even really count that one. I've had over 20 healings, and none of them happened in a community hour. So community hours are great. I love them. That's why I do them. And interestingly enough, that's not where the healing happens. I guess that's where support happens and encouragement happens. And I'm not saying this to discourage anyone from attending any kind of community hour or anything, or doing this in groups, or I'm not discouraging that at all. The danger is when we make the group or we make the gatherings our higher power. Do you see where Bruno Gröning said, everyone will experience help and healing inside themselves. Everyone will become their own physician. And I can say this, but it's not been easy for me. When most of my healings happened, where I really had faith in the group and really going to a lot of group meetings. And so even I struggle with really having faith just in God. Some days it's stronger than others. It's been a huge lesson, a huge learning for me to not put my faith in the group, to not even put my faith in a teaching, but to put my faith in God. And the thing is you can't, I'm asking you to trust that I'm telling the truth about my story. And like, you can't take, in essence, you can't fully take my word for it about what Bruno Gröning taught. You need to go look for it yourself, because I'm a fallible human being. I might be misremembering something. I might misquote. I might misinterpret. The ultimate teacher is God. And then Bruno's teachings sort of point us there. So please read and study Bruno's teachings for yourself. Check what I'm saying. I've heard really horrific things. Not horrific, but there's this very popular saying going around. They say, well, Bruno Gröning said a person is too weak on their own. They need the group. Actually, he didn't say that. He absolutely did not say that. I don't have it in front of me, but I have the book and I've looked it up. He said, human beings are too weak on their own. They need God. So what I try to do here is I try to point people towards Bruno Gröning and God. And what Bruno Gröning does is try to point people to God. And if going to a community hour feels good, then go. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. This is a very, very special, precious, and I'm counting this as the first. What's today's date? June the 5th, 6/5. So I'm counting this as the first. It was informal, and I haven't come up with a name yet for this place. But I'm counting this as the first official meeting here. And I'd like to thank all of you so much for joining in. It's delightful, Tobias, to hear from you again. Oh, and Mariana wrote something I meant to look at. One sec. Your story gives a lot of... she wrote, your story gives hope to many others. There is no incurable. There is no incurable. Thank you so much, Janet, for sharing your healing. Lav, excited to hear you're doing Einstein every day. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you keep that up and maybe do it twice a day. I tune in the morning and the evening, and oftentimes in the afternoon. Thank you so much, Jisoo. And Mariana, please drop me, and anyone else, I'm open to traveling, and I'm also open to doing remote sessions, and drop me an email. You can get that. You can get my contact info off my website. Yes. Boom, Tobias. Thank you. Let's end on that note. Let's face it. It's a team sport. We're not meant to do it alone. And thank you, Tobias. Tobias wrote, to me, a community hour can be just two Bruno Gröning friends joining together. As Christ said, where two or more are gathered. And that's what we're doing here. Fab. Boom. Yes, brother man. That brings us right into the middle ground. On the one hand, you can be like, I'm going to do it, just me and God, nothing else. I tried that. It didn't work out so well for me. I received some help. And then the other extreme is too much reliance on the group. Like, oh, I need the group. And I can only get healing through the group, and then there's this beautiful middle ground. And Tobias, you just nailed it, friend. Two people tuning in together. And my goal is to empower each person here to go out and share this with someone. Like, I love doing these broadcasts, but I want to empower. That's my end goal, is to empower people to be their own healer and to empower people to share this. And sharing it can be as simple as, hey, I do this form of meditation of receiving healing energy. Would you like to try it with me? I've done that so many times and not even mentioned Bruno Gröning. Bruno Gröning himself even said that, and this is a little esoteric, but Bruno Gröning said that people who, that the conditions in the world were now possible, that people who hadn't even heard the name Bruno Gröning could receive this divine help. So, Tobias, you're the man. Thank you. The wisdom that we all can pull together could just go on, and gonna do this again real soon, and really grateful. Take care. Much love.